Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's lovely to welcome everybody to the Curriculum Equity and Student Wellbeing Committee meeting. As I think almost everybody knows, my name is Harjit Ajla. I'm one of the associate directors responsible for many different responsibilities, but one of the responsibilities is the organization and support of this committee. And so for this evening, our very first roles and functions this evening is to engage the election of the committee chair. So just looking to see that we have trustees with us. We have Trustee Bailey, Trustee Benjamin, Trustee Clark. We also have Trustee McDonald, Trustee Alves, and Trustee Cameron joining virtually. So this evening, and Trustee Promoli is on her way. Okay, wonderful. So the first order of business will be the election of the committee chair. So we will now open nominations. I would ask if you could please raise your hand if you wish to put forward a nomination. Please note that a committee member may nominate themselves as well. Okay.
I nominate Trustee Bailey as chair.
Trustee Bailey. Could I get someone to second that?
I second.
Thank you, Trustee Clark.
I will.
Sorry, Trustee McDonald, could you say that again?
I will second.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Trustee McDonald.
Yeah.
Okay, so Trustee Bailey, do you accept? Wonderful, to be nominated as committee chair. Are there any other nominations for chair of the committee? Okay, so I have a motion from member Benjamin to appoint member Bailey as chair of the Curriculum Equity and Student Wellbeing Committee. And do I have a seconder for this motion?
Happy to.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so that's Trustee Alves and also Trustee Clark. All right, Trustee Bailey is acclaimed as chair. Congratulations, Trustee Bailey. Do you wish to share a few words?
I vote for Colin. I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues for this nomination. And second, I really appreciate your support in this. Thank you.
Wonderful, congratulations. So, Trustee Bailey, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you. I do have some notes here around the next order of business being the election of the vice chair.
Get to move.
This is right there.
Okay, so the second order of business is the election of the vice chair. I now open the nomination. Please raise your hand if you wish to put forward a nomination Please note, a committee members may nominate themselves. Jeff,
I'd like to nominate trustee Susan Benjamin to be the vice chair.
are there any other nominations?
Need a seconder.
So we need a second.
Yeah, we need a
Is there a
second.
second?
I'm guessing this one.
Jill,
I second the nomination for trustee Benjamin.
okay. I have a motion that from a member from trustee Clark to appoint member from trustee Benjamin as vice chair of the Curriculum, Equity and Student Wellbeing Committee. Do I have a seconder for this motion? Trustee Promoli. Member trustee Benjamin is acclaimed as the vice chair. Congratulations, trustee Benjamin. Do you wish to say a few words?
Thank you, and through you, Chair, I'm very happy to take this role, and I'm here to support you in every which way that you want me to do. Thank you.
We will now do the land acknowledgement of the traditional lands.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
The approval of the agenda. So can we move that? Jill? And second by Susan?
Okay, but sorry. Through you, Chair, just a little bit of advice. Please address as trustee. You're the new chair.
Thank you, trustee Benjamin. Okay, that is curriculum and so I'm going to start over. Trustee and trustee Promoli can move the agenda, and trustee Benjamin that the Curriculum and Equity Student and Wellbeing Committee approve the agenda of December 10th. Is there any discussion?
No.
All in favor? Okay, so moving on to number 5, declarations of conflict of interest. Are there any conflicts of interest? Nope. Okay. Number 6, 6.1, Curriculum, Equity, and Student Wellbeing Committee, October 9, 2024. So, trustee Clark.
Yeah.
You can move it.
Yeah.
And seconded by trustee McDonald.
Yes.
Okay. So that the Curriculum Equity and Student Wellbeing Committee approves the minutes of October 9th. Any discussion? No, hearing none. All in favor? So passed. Item number 7, delegations. There is no delegations? Nope. Staff reports. 8.1, e-learning and Peel District School Board by Bernadette. We start with Thomas. We can absolutely, does anybody object? Nope.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your indulgence, Chair Fairley.
So we're gonna move to number 9.1 first.
Yes.
So we're moving up first to 9.1.
Thank you very much, Chair Bailey, and thank you for your indulgence. I have a short update for everyone in our response to a delegation by Learning for a Sustainable Future. First, I want to thank you to the organization for delegating the committee, and I'm just going to give a short overview of our response. The Peel District School Board will declare a climate emergency, which aligns with the commitments from the Region of Peel and the municipalities of Caledon, Brampton, and Mississauga. The declaration will be contingent on the board having a clear climate action plan. This climate action plan will be developed with all parties, including student voice, central departments, facilities, many other departments that would have involved in forming this plan. The other thing our board has implemented was we did introduce a student survey. You will see it attached in your appendix. 1,119 Peel Board students participated in the survey, and a summary of their comments and answers are also included in the appendix for you to read. The Peel District School Board is very much committed to environmental education and sustainability. And one of the main pillars of doing this within our board is with the Eco School program. I do have Edward Kai, our manager of energy and sustainability, online, as well as Tracy Appleton, our sustainability specialist, should you have any questions after this, but I just want to note that they're online for you. This program, of course, is run through the Toronto Conservation Authority and is funded by them. We have a decent number of schools, and just as a summary, we did have, of course, quite a dip during COVID, but we have recovered due to all the hard work of the staff. For the 2024 and 25 school years, the Peel District School Board will mandate that all schools will be at minimum participant in the Eco Schools program. So that is a commitment we'll be making for this school year. In terms of other initiatives that the Peel Board is also involved in, we do have a very active outdoor education program. We also have a very active environmental stewardship and sustainability at the Manjading King Center for Indigenous Education. We also have climate education embedded and highlighted throughout our science curriculum, as well as in our grade 6 students participate in Environmental Leaders of Tomorrow program, which includes a weekend away. To also promote sustainability at the Peel District School Board, I want to also note that we have 122 of our schools have solar panels on them, generating solar energy, of which we participate in some of the revenues from. We also have a very active energy and sustainability department that constantly monitors temperatures at all our meetings, even this meeting right now. And we also monitor that during the day on an hour by hour basis. I once again want to very much thank you for LSF, the organization, for delegating us, and we're happy to take any questions.
Okay.
Thank you for that. So,
Question.
question.
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, through you, Chair. How are we able to measure?
Before that, I think to proceed.
Oh,
First, we need to do that.
okay,
We can do it after. Okay.
okay, again, through you, Chair. Do we know or have a way of measuring how much, how much we're saving in terms of, greenhouse gases and, how are we able to measure the effectiveness of our plans? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, and through you, Chair Bailey. We do have Edward Kai, who is a manager of energy sustainability, and I'll have him answer your question.
Good evening, everyone. And my name is Edward Kai. I'm glad to answer the question through the chair. Thank you for the question. At PDSB, we have a couple ways to tracking the utility consumption and also the energy costs. One way is we have a real-time monitoring system, and so we can check on daily basis. Another thing, we have a UCD, is called Utility Database, operated by the ministry. So through the database and also the daily and the monthly hydro bill, we can track both the energy consumption school by school, utility from utility to another utility, and also we can track the financial numbers, which is utility cost. In that way, for example, in the past school year from 2023 to 2024. We were glad to see a reduction of 3.7% on energy consumption, and we saw a utility saving of 650,000. It's just given one example of tracking and following up on both energy consumption and the costs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that answer. That's great.
Trustee Kamala.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you so much for this response to the delegation and for the decisions that the board is deciding to make in response and with all the great work that has been happening and is continuing on here. I had the opportunity to visit Mississauga Secondary just about a month ago and see the great work that is happening with eco schools and how much the students there are gaining from that work and what they're learning and the opportunities for leadership too. So I'm so thrilled to see that we're going to continue to embrace this. And I love the way that it aligns with our multi-year strategic plan, but also the great work that's going to continue to happen in our schools and to offer even more students these chances for leadership and for learning. So just really glad to see all of this and wanted to say thank you to everybody for this fantastic effort. So thank you.
Trustee Cameron on top. Trustee Cameron. You're muted.
I too am through you, Chair, I'm very happy with the report. I'm very happy for constituents who really put this application together and request together. I have a question about the cost. So where are we getting the money to train, to put in additional resources, to for example, to bring 260 schools on board as eco schools? I don't think we're going to be asking teachers just to suddenly join in with such a great initiative. It's going to cost something. Do we know how much all of this will cost? And let's start with that. I have a supplemental.
Through you, Chair Bailey. Definitely, we will have to develop a climate action plan first. And once that plan is developed, definitely we will have to look at resources. We currently only have one staff member overseeing almost the entire sustainability portfolio, but that will be a commitment to look at resources for that.
Okay, thank you. I thought I heard you say that by the end of this school year, we would have all our schools eco-certified. And if that was the case, we need we need some money to do that now. And we don't have any money in the budget. We've been through our budget process for the current year. There's no money there. So Chair, the question is, and nobody can guarantee that there'll be additional money in next year's budget. Still, whatever the amount is going to be, is there a plan to determine how we're going to pay for this?
So through you, Chair Bailey, again, what we're committing for is a participant level for eco schools. There's bronze, silver, and I believe platinum certification. So we're committing that all schools be a participant level, which is not a full certification at any of the other levels. So that's our commitment for the remainder of this school year. And then I think we'll probably be looking at further plans in the coming years to do certification of all schools. This, of course, would take a number of years. So that is our commitment for this year's participant level only. If you have any further questions, we also have Tracy Appleton online.
Okay, through you, Chair, hearing that, I'm assuming you will not be coming, no money will be spent out of the current budget to move this initiative along. And do you know if participant level, through you, Chair, do you know if there's participant level, the participant level still gets $500 each school from the TRCA?
Thank you for the question. Whoops. Thank you for the question. I have Tracy Appleton, and I'll have her take that question. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for the question. I'll answer it through the chair. Currently, we get funding through a partnership. The funding actually technically comes to us from the region of Peel, and it comes to us through a partnership with the Toronto and Region Conservation Authority. So currently, Eco Schools is based on a voluntary participation, and schools that participate can choose to send a teacher lead to one of our fall workshops that we offer in October and November. And so the funding covers the supply release. So we have funding to cover up to 75 teachers, and we have 74 teachers come this year to take advantage. We have 104 schools signed up right now. So that's covering most of the schools who wanted to send a teacher. The other part of the funding covers a small internal grant program that we offer schools. It offers up to $250 grant for up to 20 schools. And they have to apply, and they can use that towards their Eco Schools certification, as long as they can demonstrate that it will benefit the school in terms of their Eco Schools program, and in terms of whatever they want to use the funding towards, that it'll support that action within the program. So that the funding, majority of the funding covers for teacher supply coverage for up to 75 teachers for fall workshops, a small grant program, as well as a membership with Eco Schools Canada that costs us $2,500 for the year. And that gives us access to Eco Schools staff, and all our school data in terms of how many of our schools have signed up and all the actions within the program that they are doing. So we get access to resources, data, and staff member with that $2,500. So it's all external funding, bottom line.
Through you, Chair. Thank you. All good.
Myself.
Trustee Benjamin?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I would like to thank Controller Tung for the report, and we can see that it's a multi-pronged approach that we are having, and that's what we need to do, because I just want to draw your attention to the heat alerts that we had this summer. It was really, really very hot. I happened to be in one school during the graduation, And that school is one of the older schools in my ward, which has a courtyard, which is, concrete. And you can literally feel the heat coming up. So I did bring up this, problem with I draw it to the attention of AD Gill. I don't know what is being done, but this can add to the heat. So are we going to do anything about those open courtyards in schools? I don't know which other school has it, but this was intolerable. I mean, we just couldn't get out into the courtyard because they had arranged for the refreshments in another part of the school, and you had to walk through the courtyard. So I would like something to be done about this. The second thing that we observed during the summer was the flooding. July, August, we had very heavy flooding throughout. Mississauga. I don't know about Caledon, but I live in this area for the past 25 years, and never did we have flooding. But my backyard was flooded, and that is adjacent to the Britannia farm. So I just want to bring to the notice of Controller Tung, and I also spoke to AD Gill about this, that the city of Mississauga has noted this, and I did talk to the councillor too, and they are having some kind of measures, to take care of the flooding that would happen. And I think climate change is a factor. We are going to have more and more serious effects, and I'm so glad that the board is doing a lot, and it's being very proactive in this area. And thank you very much.
Anyone else? Okay, Stina. Okay, so Trustee Alves, can I have you move that motion? Trustee Alves?
Sorry, I was hunting for my unmute button. I'd gladly move that motion, and I would just like to add, Trustee Benjamin's comments were quite interesting. She may like to move this report to Planning and Building, but she might not.
Sorry, you say.
Planning, he suggested that it would be good to put that in planning and building.
Okay.
It seems like it might involve infrastructure and such.
Thank you. Do you have to comment about that?
No, not necessarily.
No, you don't have that. And Trustee Pomoli, would you like to second it? Okay, so that Curriculum, Equity, and Student Wellbeing Committee received this response to the delegation. All in favor? Okay, so thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so going back to 8.1, e-learning in the Peel District School Board, Bernadette Smith.
Thank you, Chair Bailey, for the opportunity to share information about the PDSB e-learning program at this time. I'm joined by coordinating principal of the Peel Virtual Secondary School and e-learning and New Aurora, as well as e-learning instructional coordinator for technology-enabled learning, the TELT for our district, Eileen Sobek. The Peel District School Board e-learning initiative exemplifies our commitment to accessibility, equity, and 21st century skill development, aligning seamlessly with the multi-year strategic plan and Ministry of Education directives. As one of 55 member boards in the Ontario e-learning consortium, which is known as the OELC, PDSB plays a vital role in a collaborative provincial network that shares resources, expertise, and best practice in e-learning. This membership ensures that students across Ontario, including those at the PDSB, have access to a diverse range of high-quality asynchronous e-learning opportunities. By offering these courses through the centralized Peel Virtual Secondary School, PVSS, we provide students with flexible learning options fully integrated into their timetables, enabling them to balance academic responsibilities with personal commitments. PDSB e-learning teachers support student engagement and success through continuous monitoring, descriptive feedback, and scheduled office hours. Enrollment data highlights the program's growing demand, with 1,791 students currently enrolled and 994 waitlisted for semester 2 courses, but that just changed a minute ago to how many? 1,168. 1,168 on our wait list for semester 2. This demand spans grades 9 to 12, covering subjects such as sciences, maths, and humanities, and ensures that students fulfill the ministry mandated e-learning graduation requirements. The program also maintains equity as a central focus with culturally responsive teaching practices aimed at addressing systemic barriers and supporting marginalized communities. Key performance indicators, including a 94% retention rate and a 92% overall success rate, underscore the effectiveness of our e-learning model. The transition to a centralized e-learning structure under PBSS has also improved the resource allocation and consistency, fostering a more inclusive and streamlined experience for students and educators alike. Looking ahead, the program's success brings both opportunities and challenges. The increasing demand underscores the need for additional investments in staffing, professional development, and technological infrastructure to sustain and scale the program effectively. Equity initiatives remain a priority, ensuring that all students, particularly those from underserved backgrounds, have access to the tools and support necessary for academic success. By leveraging our position within the OELC, of which Principal Aurora is the chair for Ontario OELC, and the support of ministry funding, PDSB continues to set a benchmark for e-learning excellence, addressing evolving needs and refining practices based on data and stakeholder feedback. This commitment ensures that the program not only meets current requirements, but also prepares students for future challenges in a digitally connected world. Principal Anu Aurora will now provide a brief intro to a video clip highlighting some of the learning that happens in e-learning.
Thank you, Superintendent Smith, and through you, Chair. It is a pleasure to share this video. You know, we often get asked questions about how do you make learning active in an asynchronous learning environment? It seems confusing to people that that's even possible, but given the great staff that we have and this wonderful support that we have from Eileen Sobek, we've managed to really encourage students to be active participants in e-learning. This video demonstrates one example of a teacher running a course that embeds this type of active learning.
Hello and welcome. My name is Candace Campbell and I'm a teacher at Peel Virtual Secondary School. At PBSS, I work in the communications, special education, guidance, and of course the e-learning department. So today I'm going to be talking about how I am working to reshape education through online learning, specifically through the use of 3-part lessons which encourage active learning. So all of my lessons are structured like this. They're posted in modules in advance so students can preview them or they can also work ahead. I also like to include these banners. So those are my 3 parts, Minds On, Action, Consolidation. And I think these are great visual cues. So students know if they finish the Minds On section, then they can start at the action section when they return to the lesson. I've also designed these interactive icons in Lordicon, and these are consistent throughout all of our lessons. So these tell students what to expect, and they know that when they see this, it's going to be a quote. And for example, when they get towards the end here, they'll have a check and reflect activity, which asks them to reflect on what they've learned in this section. Again, keeping the learning active and keeping students engaged. So here we have the Minds On section where students are activating their prior knowledge and they're previewing what the lesson is going to be about. As we move into the action section, I like to embed external resources as much as possible. So sometimes those are formative assessments, activities, games, things that ask students to expand upon what they're learning in the lesson. Here's a good example of one, and this is a collaborative activity which is asking students to participate in a Padlet. I like to embed Padlets, Mentimeters, Blickets, Kahoots, games, fun collaborative activities that ask students to not only reflect on their learning, but to work with one another, which is extremely important in an online learning environment where we don't have any face-to-face or synchronous interaction. This is a longer lesson, so I've embedded a reminder to visit our Brain Breaks module, which is embedded in our learning content. And that's telling students that, hey, it's okay to take a minute and then come back to the lesson when you're refreshed and you can really engage in what you're learning. So here's an example of an activity that students would be completing. So this is a research chart that prepares students for the summative at the end of the unit. So really building towards the summative at the end. And as we go down, I like to use Creator Plus to embed interactive elements, which again, ask students to stop and engage in the lesson. And then I also like to use Discover More activities where students can independently explore things that interest them. In this case, it's apprenticeship in Ontario. So as we move on, here's a video. So I like to ensure that I'm providing students multiple ways to engage in their learning, but I do like to have some type of analysis activity at the end of a video to make sure they're not just passively viewing. Continuing on, here's a click and explore activity. And then at the bottom here is a consolidation activity where students are sorting things that they've learned into categories to consolidate their learning. As we get towards the very bottom, we have a try it activity and then a consolidation activity, which in this case is a mini assignment. It is linked here for students, easy to find, connected to this lesson, but it's also posted directly underneath. And then that brings us to the end of the lesson. One tool I do like to show students is the Read and Write Chrome extension. So I think this is super helpful and also really encourages active learning, as students can use that tool to highlight, to annotate, to use the dictionary function to find words that they don't understand, and they can even highlight text to have it read aloud to them. So here's an example of that.
To some, educational planning is exciting. The free.
And this is really helpful in, again, encouraging your students to get involved with the lesson in the way that works for them. So that brings me to the end of my lesson. I hope that you enjoyed it. And your clue is the letter T. So make sure that you record that and have fun. Bye.
You can disregard the clue part. That was part of it. So thank you so much. We're happy to take any questions at this time. Thank you.
And
thank you.
Thank you. So that's the presentation. So Trustee Benjamin, would you like to move that?
Yes, sure.
Trustee Promote and
All in favor.
all in favor? Is there any questions? Online, any questions?
We have one more presentation.
So we got one more.
One more presentation. So 8.2, the international programs in the Peel District School Board. Bernadette Smith.
Hello again. So through you, Chair Bailey, it is my privilege to provide an update on the Peel District School Board's international programs, and I am joined here today with our Manager of Recruitment and Marketing, Pooja Singh. The work of the international programs team is strategically aligned with our multi-year strategic plan promoting student equity, global citizenship, and academic excellence. Through a blend of academic rigor and cultural inclusivity, these programs enhance our district's reputation as a global leader in education while fostering a rich intercultural learning environment that benefits students, staff, and the broader community alike. International programs are built on 4 core pillars. Peelschools for international students, which offer full-time educational opportunities for international students coming here from abroad to study. International delegations and edu-tours, which increases visiting delegations in school tours, workshops, and presentations, promoting cross-cultural dialogue and showcasing the PDSB strengths in equity, innovation, and education excellence, which many of you have been part of. Teach abroad and professional learning partnerships facilitates cultural immersion and reciprocal learning experiences for staff, enhancing adaptability, teaching practices, and global awareness. And student leadership initiatives, focusing on empowering students to embrace global citizenship, develop leadership skills, and engage meaningfully in cross-cultural exchanges through innovative programs such as global partner school relationships, mentorship opportunities, and cultural exchange partnerships. These pillars support a globally oriented learning community by enhancing cultural exchange and promoting diversity. Currently, over 450 students from 30 plus countries are enrolled across multiple Peel schools. Revenue generated by the program sustains staffing, educational resources, and strategic growth, while robust support services, including language assistance and settlement services, ensure our international students thrive academically and socially. The program also empowers staff through professional learning exchanges, fostering global perspectives and adaptable teaching practices. Looking ahead, our focus remains on strengthening and diversifying these programs to ensure sustainability and resilience. This includes broadening our recruitment efforts across more regions, forging deeper partnerships with post-secondary institutions, and expanding pathways for students. We also aim to refine program offerings through innovative approaches such as online and blended learning models to meet emerging global demands. These efforts will ensure our programs remain a hallmark of excellence, equity, and inclusivity in education. At this time, we're going to just show you a little clip to give you a sense of our work with international programs. And we're happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you, through you, Chair. My question is about looking under the section next steps. It refers to diversified recruitment by expanding the pool of source countries and regions to reduce over reliance on any single market. Are there any? That implies that we know there are certain markets that we're over relying on. Do we know who they are, what those markets are, and what are our plans in order to further diversify our sources? Thank you.
Excellent question. And through you, Chair, I'm going to pass it over to Pooja Singh, and she'll be able to give you some more information on that. Thank you.
Thank you. So right now, our main source markets are China and Vietnam, mainly China. We do have quite a large population from there. We have a very good partnership built in China, which allows us to get very high achieving students into our board. However, over-reliance on one market, as we can see, in the news right now, can often lead to problems. So we are looking to expand to growing markets. That includes places across Europe, including Spain, Italy, South America as well. And through that, we're hoping to not only diversify our student population, but also be able to rely on various markets to fuel our program.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for the report.
Let's keep a moment. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed learning about this. I was curious if we have any sense of how many of our students here in Peel are participating in
going in the other direction and going abroad and studying.
Thank you for that question. And through you, Chair, we are exploring different ways for our students to have other experiences beyond the local. Right now, it's a little bit challenging with international travel because we have to consider many safety considerations for students, including the type of insurance that we have for them and so on. There are opportunities for students, and there have been some over the past couple of years as well that have traveled and gone for international experiences. I know of one right now that's going to Japan, for instance, for a STEM initiative and learning there. And it's a collaboration between actually Peel Virtual Secondary School and Mayfield, Meadowville. In terms of through us with international programs, we have more and more requests from people asking to come here actually for more learning from our schools. And then they do invite our educators to go to their country. So as an example, we just recently had the Wales delegation that Trustee Bailey was at. And so because they have funding from their government, they also add on additional funding to bring people from the places where they're going to learn over to them to have those kind of exchanges. So we're exploring that first and just kind of cautiously going in to other opportunities where we might look at possibly some student exchanges.
Okay. And through you, Chair, as a student myself, when I was in high school and again in university, I did participate in exchange programs, and I have to say that they were probably the most impactful part of my high school and university experiences. And it's something that I would dearly love for my children to have the same opportunity to do. If we have the chance to open those opportunities up, it's life-changing, right? It made my world so much bigger than it would have been if I'd never had that chance to go and gain more independence than you get as a teenager otherwise, but also to get outside of our bubble here and really understand the world and our own country from outside. And so if there are ways that we can find to further expand that, I would really love to know more about that, because it's honestly so powerful. And I know that there are other boards that do have those opportunities available. The same rural community that I grew up in is continuing to do the same programs that I was part of back in those days many years ago, not so many years ago. But you know, I love that we have so many students who are coming to engage in our schools here too, because our schools are amazing, so they should.
There you go. And thank you for that. And through you, Chair, I'll remember that, because we will be seeking advice from you as well as we continue to explore those options. Because I think we all agree that that is such an enriching experience. And you know that we had teachers go for our first time to a teacher brought in Taiwan this summer, which was just such an amazing experience for those educators and what they brought back in terms of their learning. And we're continuing with that and furthering our relationship with the people in Taiwan as well, and looking at perhaps offering a STEM camp as well this summer. And so we're trying to expand with our educators, but definitely exploring and looking at other jurisdictions and seeing how they proceed as well with caution and with joy, right, for our students. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. So my question is, so this is only for what do you call it, high school students? They come here for only for high school education.
So through you, Chair, I'm going to pass it over to Pooja Singh, and she'll be able to give you all the details. Yeah.
Thank you.
So majority of our students are in high school programs. However, we do also have in elementary students as well. Elementary students are a bit different. They aren't coming on their own. So high school students are able to come on their own and live in a homestay environment and attend whichever one of our school sites that they select. However, elementary students would have to come with either a parent or a very close relative, and they would attend the school located closest to where they're living. So we do have a pretty healthy elementary population as well. Obviously not as big as our secondary just because of that, restraint on it, but we do accommodate both.
So as a follow-up to you, Chair, so once they finish their high school, do they express interest in going on to post-secondary education here? And are there opportunities for them?
Majority of them do. Through our program, we actually work on building partnerships with post-secondary institutions to create the seamless path for our students. So for example, we have a very strong partnership with Sheridan College where students are able to go in and experience different types of programs while they're still in high school. So things that aren't necessarily typical in their home country, for example, taking something like photography at Sheridan College. They can go in and take, a full day experience and be able to work in a photography lab and understand how that works. And through that, we not only offer post-secondary opportunities for them, but also expand their horizons. So that's something that Bernadette, myself, and our other colleague Samir have been working on expanding and providing to our students. But to answer your question, yes, majority of them do have interest in staying for post-secondary, and some do stay even afterwards on work permits. However, a large portion of them do go back to their home country to work.
Yeah, once again, thank you and appreciate it. So just, you mentioned it, the work permit part. So would these students who get the work permit then also try for the permanent residency? Which will be the next step because they would definitely love to continue to live here. So does that happen or is there an opportunity for them?
It really does depend on their home country. Many of our students are coming from great privilege, so they do often go back to their home country to, participate in their family business, or they just have that sense of loyalty that they would like to go back to their home country. That's not to say that we don't have students who have stayed. We do have quite a few students that I've heard many years down the road. For example, actually, recently I heard a story of one of our students who I had been meeting for their family for the past, I would say, 6 years. And now the daughter has graduated from Applewood Heights, finished her post-secondary at Toronto Metropolitan, and just received a job offer at that time, just a few weeks prior to me meeting her father again. So they definitely do pursue that path, and that opportunity is available to them. And the great thing is that the new visa rules do not impact our secondary students. So they are able to take that transition to post-secondary a lot easier than students who are just trying to come for post-secondary. So I imagine that that's something that is going to be, used more and more.
Yeah, great, thank you.
All right. So, can I move it? Trustee Benjamin,
Yes.
seconded by trustee Promoli. All in favor? Great. Great. Moving on to communications, because we have that gone. Moving to number 10, trustee motions. There are no motions you consider. And there are no notice of motions. And adjournments. Trustee Al.
Happy to.
All right.
Oh, wait. Happy birthday, Trustee Alves.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Trustee Al.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, everyone.
And seconded trustee Benjamin.
Yes.
All right. All in favor? I don't think you do all.
Thank you very much.